You are listening to the Winners Ways podcast with Bola Alabi, episode number 94.
Would you like to win and achieve success at what you do? Welcome to the Winners Ways podcast, where we create winners every day. And now, your host, the author of Winners Ways book and life coach, Bola Alabi.
Hello, my friends. Welcome to another episode of the Winners Ways podcast. This is where we talk about money, we talk about your career, and we also give you some motivational messages to help you to live your life to the fullest. Last week, I had an interview with Dave Mason. Dave Mason is a social entrepreneur, a rabbi, and a business strategist, and he is the author of the book The Cash Machine. On that interview, we talked about how everyone can build their cash machine and attain financial freedom. Check out episode 93 of this podcast if you haven't already listened to it. After the interview, I picked up Dave's book, The Cash Machine, and I started reading it. I really found this book fascinating. I love the way he delivered the book in terms of his writing style. So if you are the type that love reading novel or fictional books, and you also want to learn about money, definitely you should consider getting Dave Mason's book, The Cash Machine. Just to give you a little bit of a background, this book was about a young man, Dylan, who left college as a freshman to take on an adventure. And the adventure was about how to become financially independent. So Dylan left his girlfriend, Amber, and he traveled to Mexico to go learn how to build his cash machine. Amber felt kind of frustrated and angry because Dylan left. After about 7 years, Dylan came back on the scene and he wanted to pick back up where he had left off with Amber. But Amber was not ready to settle down with someone that had no formal or college education, so to speak. In Dylan's opinion, college education is all about waste of time and money. And to some extent, I know he's right, because if you look at this country today, the total amount of student loan is over $1.5 trillion. And many people, the student loan has set them back in their financial life, because when they graduate from college, they'll start paying this money. Most of the time, when you look at the proportion of the student loan compared to people's income, the proportion is quite high, and to these people, it's a setback. But to some that's earning high salary, then student loan may not be that bad after all. So what's my view about college or student loan? In my opinion, college education is important because it can open multiple doors of opportunities to you. And I'm going to encourage people to get that education. But you should do it in such a way that it will not put you in too much debt, or debt that you will not be able to pay off. And what do I mean by this? There are some people that have college loan to the tune of over $300,000, or even some owe about $500,000. And that's like a mortgage to some people. So for people to start paying off that amount, if you are earning, let's say $50,000 and you owe $500,000 in college loan, that's a big hole for you. But if you are fortunate enough to get a job where you earn as much as $300,000 or $400,000 every year, then if you have a student loan of $500,000, that shouldn't be too much for you to pay off. So how can you prepare for college and go to college with as little debt as possible? The first thing is that it starts with the parents. Parents should ensure as much as possible to start saving for their children's college education from the first year they give birth to their kids. For example, if a parent started saving like $50 every month, that's about $600 per year, that child will have about $30,000 towards his college education by the time the child turns 18. That's if the money is earning about 10% per annum ROI. And the other thing that student can do is you should consider state school where you pay in-state tuition. That will save you some money. And for some high school kids, you can start taking classes that will earn you some college credits. That way you save money by the time you are ready for college. Now let's go back to the book Cash Machine. So Dylan narrated his experience to Amber and how he started a journey to become financially free by generating passive income from rental properties. This goal means that Dylan would sacrifice most momentary pleasure to achieve his overall objective. For example, Dylan refused to buy a car. Dylan does not go to a restaurant to eat out. And he does not spend much money on designer clothes. He lives as frugal as possible. This kind of lifestyle, needless to say, was not pleasing to Amber, who loves alive, who loves enjoying good meal at restaurants. She loves driving a good car. Of course, she has a student loan that she's paying, but she loves her apartment because she lives in a very nice neighborhood. So you can see the conflict there. Dylan on one side was ready and he has made enough sacrifice to live as frugal as possible. Meanwhile, Amber, she loves her life, she loves living large, and she was not prepared to make all those cuts and sacrifices to prepare for the future. The big idea about the book Cash Machine is that everyone can attain financial independence if they can learn how to live within their means and acquire assets that will pay for their wants and needs. Now, let me break it down further. Cash Machine is about passive income. I made a podcast episode about how to create your passive income. You should go and check it out. And passive income is a sort of income that keep flowing into your account, whether you put in extra effort or not. Some good examples of passive income will include maybe royalty that you get from books if you are a book author. Like myself, I create podcast episode. Each time that people listen to this podcast, I make some money. Even if you go back to episode 1 and listen to my show, I still get paid. And guess what? We are now on episode 94. You can make passive income by investing in stock markets, especially if you buy companies that pay dividends on a quarterly basis or monthly basis, as the case may be. if you can create a digital course and you start selling to people, you can also use that as a means of creating your passive income. So passive income is what the cash machine is all about. I learned one great technique of building cash machine from this book, and the technique is called house hack. And here's how it works. You buy a multi-unit apartment. By law, if you live in one of the units, let's say you buy a 4-unit apartment, if you live in one of the units, you can claim the entire property as your primary residence. And what are the benefits of that? The first thing is that you qualify for a low interest loan from the bank, and the taxes that you pay on your primary residence is lower than the tax that you will pay if the property is an investment property. So that's the benefit of buying a multi-unit apartment and living in one of the units. You can practically live rent-free by living in one of the units, like I said, while your tenant will be paying your mortgage. Let me give you an example. Let's say the old mortgage for the 4-unit property, let's say it's $400,000, and you borrowed $360,000 because maybe you were able to pay 20% of the down payment, right? So on a mortgage of $360,000, let's say your monthly mortgage is about $3,000. Guess what? If each of your tenants, now you have 3 tenants, you are living in one. If you are charging them $1,200 each month, 1,200 times 3, that's 3,600. Wow. They are paying your mortgage, and you are living rent free because your mortgage is $3,000. The $3,600 that you are getting from your tenant is sufficient to pay your mortgage and leave you some, about $600 that you can use for the maintenance of that property. So let's say after some year, you now move out from that property. You went in search of another property. You found another 3-unit apartment. You bought that one again, and you move from the old one and you start living in the new one. Guess what? You can now claim the new one as your primary resident. The old one, meanwhile, you have your fixed loan on it. Nothing is going to change right there. So you can continue this way, and you start buying properties and getting them financed at a low fixed rate. And you make sure you get good tenants. Because with time, you'll be able to generate enough income from all your tenants, all your property that will meet your expenses based on your rental properties. And that's how the house hack works. I will encourage you to check out that book, The Cash Machine by Dave Mason. It's a good book if you want to learn about how to build your cash machine. For now, I'm going to leave you with 2 takeaways that I learned from that book. The first one is that anyone and everyone can attain financial independence. Of course, it requires some sacrifices. The first thing you need to know is that you must learn how to live within your means, and you shouldn't try to catch up with the Joneses by maybe trying to do everything that your friends and neighbors do. Maybe buying a new car when you see your colleagues also buying one. You have to learn how to live within your means. That's the message. And one great thing that I've observed these days is that you do not have to wait till you are 65 years old to start thinking about how to become financially free. There are many people nowadays, maybe at age 40, 45, 50, that are self-sufficient financially, that have passive income flowing into their account monthly to take care of their expenses. So don't have the mentality that, you cannot become financially independent until you are 65 or until you retire. Being financial independent is different from being able to retire. Some people, they enjoy what they do. They will continue to work until they die, and that's okay. But they work not because they have to. They work because they enjoy doing what they do. And that's the stage you should aim to get to. The second point that I want to emphasize is that you can start building your cash machine today. And how do you do that? Look for assets that will generate regular and stable income for you. Dave Mason, of course, focused on building wealth through rental properties, and that's great. That's awesome. But alongside that, you can build wealth by investing in the stock market, whereby you get dividends that you receive when the companies make profits. And you can write books like myself and make passive income whenever people buy your book. You can create a digital course and also make income when people buy your course. And that's where I'm going to end it today. But before I leave, I would like to leave you with a quote. This quote is from Warren Buffett. It says, "If you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die." So building your cash machine or generating passive income is a way to help you to make money while you sleep. And everyone needs to learn how to make money work for them. I wrote a book last year, Power to Invest, Power to Earn, and Power to Save. These are ebooks. They are also available in paperbacks. You can get them. It's all about how to optimize your earning to make sure you are not earning just a minimum wage, to make sure you earn as much as possible, and how to save money so that at the end of the day, when you earn all this money, you need to keep certain amount aside. And the saving is what you will use to start investing. And I wrote Power to Invest for you to know the different options out there where you can invest your money so that your money will continue to work hard for you. I'm going to continue on the same topic, building your cash machine, part 3 next week, and that will be episode 95. I hope you'll tune in again to listen to that. Till next time again, stay blessed and keep winning, my friends. Keep winning.
This episode of Winner's Ways podcast has come to a close. We hope you enjoy and learn something from today's show. We want you to win and excel in all areas of your life, and we regularly explore and share information with our listeners to empower them to win. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast for more tips and strategies to help you find the success that you've always dreamt of. And don't forget to rate and review so that we can continue to bring you more podcast episodes to empower you. We will love to have you again next week. Now, keep winning.